Hello, welcome to...
Scorchioland.
Scorchioland, do you know what number episode it is?
35.
Well done.
Well Thank you. Not another couples podcast.
Woo, look at you getting in there doing the intros now.
This is when it starts to take over.
And the talent takes over.
Yeah. Have I got, as Kate calls me, red eyes? Have I got red eyes? I feel like I've got red eyes today.
Red eyes. Not too bad.
Not too baggy.
We're all a bit, mine are a bit itchy and red. Just cleaning my glasses, people. It's been a bit scorchy still, hasn't it?
I went to have my normal early morning coffee at the cafe, and obviously it's not airconned in there. So big up everyone who is working without aircon. I'm lucky.
Kitchen.
The gym is beautifully cool. Everyone goes in there and goes,
in a kitchen. So we have got a fan on because it's really hot in here. So if you can hear a little whirring, I'm sure Blair will work his magic. And extract that from the sound.
I was thinking about people working manual labour.
Kitchen.
Saw landscapers yesterday.
The kitchens as well, I think, is probably one of the worst places.
I wonder if it must be hotter. It's always hot, but it must even be hotter with ambient temperatures and.
Just cooking. I mean, I'm sweating just sitting there.
You're not. You're glowing. Girls don't sweat.
Oh, I'm gonna have to have my disco fan.
Only horses sweat. Nice. Is that better? Yes, horses sweat. Ladies glow.
So we've had quite a busy weekend. Well, busy week and busy weekend. We headed down to Dorset. I don't know whether you speak like that.
No,
Dorset.
you do. Everyone,
I'm sorry.
Everyone we met was Dorset.
Dorset, and on the way down, stopped for a Starbucks, as you do. Other coffee vendors are available.
Oh yes.
And walking into Starbucks and see this person, this man who looks very sort of fashiony, quite quirky, and I was like, okay. Go order our drinks, wait at the other end. In pops this other woman to join him. And I'm looking at him thinking, And then she opens her mouth to speak, and it's Kate Moss.
I wouldn't have clocked it.
No, Amber was going, I said to Amber, I think that's Kate Moss. And they said, Dad, I think that's Kate Moss. He went, no. Maybe if she just walked past me, I might have just gone, she looks a bit like Kate Moss.
And then you heard her voice.
And then she spoke. And
Fair play to Amber. She did go up to her. I thought that was quite brave. And she was very polite, Kate Moss. She obviously didn't, as you said, wasn't made up. She didn't
have her makeup on, which is not a big issue. She probably got massive, just pop on the sunglasses.
But my client Jeff has got this amazing, I told you about this amazing photo of Kate Moss that was taken for a magazine when she was first starting up. And it's basically her standing in a bathroom, wearing a pair of knickers and holding a teddy bear, hiding her boobles.
Yes, really big boobs.
And it wasn't, everyone... I think it was one of her first photo shoots, and everyone went, well, she's not going to make it. She's too waif light. She wasn't the fashion at the time or whatever. And so these photos never really went public. And then I think Jeff's got like print 2 of 5. I mean, it's beautiful. It's massive. It's 4 foot by 2
I saw a clip of her on, they showed The Big Breakfast. I think it was The Big Breakfast before they had The Bigger Breakfast a bit as well. With Denise
Van Outen.
Thank you.
Look at me go.
So it was in her era, I think. No, it must have been earlier than that. Maybe it was Paula Yates or one of those. Anyway, they were sitting on the bed, or they used to do some of their interviews lying on the bed, and Johnny Depp was one of the guests. Very young Johnny Depp. And on the bed, well, I don't know what the scenario was initially with these 3 girls, but Kate Moss was one of them. And they're sitting on the bed, and it was when Johnny Depp came in, and there was just a lot of she literally looked about 12. She was probably about 18. She looks so young, just sitting on the bed with him, also quite young. And these 3 girls were in the background.
Going out with each other?
Yeah.
Oh.
But anyway, so that's Glastonbury. So there's a lot of Glastonbury stuff. We managed to avoid a lot of the traffic, actually. We're quite lucky.
Cut off by Glastonbury before Glastonbury. That's how you say it.
So, and we've never been to Glastonbury, but we know people who have. And we were saying you see I've seen loads of stuff on Instagram, obviously, of everybody's versions of Glastonbury, and some of it is people really doing it the normal way, where you have a crappy old tent and sludging around, and it takes you about an hour to get to places, and people are don't quite realise how massive it is. I think if they've never been before. And
how many people?
I was like 200,000 or something.
It's huge, isn't it?
So, and then you've got the sort of glamping cool people, you've got the family area, and then there's an even more bigger celebrity thing where they have these massive trailer pop out, the sort of film set ones. There's a whole area of those, obviously, whether they're performing artists or friends of or whatever, which is staying at a hotel. I said I don't think I'd even want to necessarily do that. I mean, that would be better.
Yeah,
I like the
I would love
music
to
side of it.
experience,
I like
but the idea. I mean, as I said to Amber when they went to Reading and stuff, when obviously if you want to go and see someone, you want to be near the front.
Yeah.
But to get there, you have to get there super early. So you imagine how hot it is.
Mm.
But then also you can't really go out for a pee.
No. So these days, apparently, people, if they're going to these big concerts and they wait down the front, they wear those like incontinence nappy things.
Fuck that.
Yeah, I'm not that keen.
Yeah.
I'd want to be helicoptered in, landed
So I saw some reviews
in a nice field where you can just like walk in. Or they have obviously all the mega celebs like Paul McCartney and people like that are in the wings watching.
Yes.
On these sort of
Would you prefer
stage.
that? Would you be happy with that?
I'd be happy with that. So if Paul McCartney would like to escort me around in his sort of level of Glastonbury, that would
work,
acceptable, I think, only.
I saw some review in the Times about the singer from Wet Leg. She was amazing. It was only day one they were reviewing. So when did Rod come on? He would have been final day 3.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I haven't sort of kept in track with. We've had quite an eventful weekend, so I haven't really kept track.
Lewis Capaldi came back after 2 years before he had that terrible Tourette's and couldn't actually sing, and the crowd sang for him. It was quite emotional.
Yeah,
he's a very funny man.
So there's a lot of. I think there's something for everyone at Glastonbury. That's the thing. I think it's not
complete. There's comedy. There's everything.
Well, they now have. I mean, it's changed massively. Now they have a run club.
Do they?
Yeah, there's people with actual numbers on. They book in, they go to Glastonbury, and they can do a run. Joe Wicks was there doing a whole big family workout in the family area thing.
Wow.
Yeah, there's whole different like wellness rather than before. I think in the early days it was all like just yoga and a bit of
drugs.
Yeah, basically, a few joss sticks.
Yeah.
Wafting around.
I don't know with that many people. I don't. I don't know if I'd like to.
No, I wouldn't like the massive crowds.
Doesn't do it for me.
For a long period of time. Do you know what I mean? It's not just like we went to see Foo Fighters and there's a mass of people and you're in the arena and then you leave. Do you know what I mean? It's like a one-off event where you're like it all the time and you can't get anywhere and you've got a queue for a stinky toilet and no thank you.
No thank you. Okay.
So that was Glastonbury.
Just about to tell you I got your tickets for next year.
Okay. Only from being helicoptered in, and Paul McCartney's going to escort me around at his level of...
What if it's Brad? What if Brad escorts you instead of Paul McCartney?
Me, but I was thinking Paul McCartney at a big music festival is probably...
better than Brad?
Up there.
True.
As far as the sort of godlike music.
Who did Rod Stewart have on stage with him?
He had Charlie Wood. No, Ronnie Wood.
Ronnie Wood, sorry.
You got me confused with the names there. Ronnie Wood.
Lulu.
She looks pretty...
How old do we reckon she is? Late 70s.
She's got to be in her 70s, yeah.
Amazing.
But look, talking about that era, I went to a friend's mother's funeral yesterday, and we won't necessarily go into that bit, but the order of services, obviously it's really interesting to see, because I've only met her in the last 10 years or whatever. I didn't know her mum before that. Mm-hmm. So to see sort of the old photos they put on the order of service, and like for that sort of age group, sort of people into the 80s, the 60s was like a really iconic time for them.
60s.
It's like your parents, same sort of thing.
Yeah.
The old photos of your mum and stuff of back in the day. And our friend's mum was a air stewardess early on.
It wasn't Pan Am.
No, but it was
that was Katie's
the early
mum,
British Airways. So BOAC or whatever it was back then. And there's a photo of her with those little pillbox hats and really iconic like 60s sort of bob, and very cool era then, I think, the 60s for fashion. I think that was a real boom period.
Nice. What, better than my wedge and my winkle pickers in the 80s?
Yeah. But you were copying, I think we were always copying back. Do you know what I mean?
Well, now apparently the 90s is back in, isn't it?
So yeah, everything's the 90s, and I look at my... But we were doing the 70s probably, but that was only 20 years before us.
You bet your bottom dollar.
Whereas these guys are doing 90s, and it's like...
Go on, work it out. 35 years.
35
Well
years.
done.
Thank you.
Our brain's fried. Brain's fried.
My brain has melted. I wasn't very well last week.
God, you were really down. You were proper feverish.
I
had a cold.
Slight man flu.
And I had one night of fever, and then I was like, okay. Just a bit run down, and then you got something. I don't think it was the same thing. It wasn't the same thing.
No, it wasn't. It was quite awful, I have to say.
You had achy bones.
Hanging.
And then we had your mum's 80th in Dorset.
So, yeah.
So you had to travel down full of drugs. It was
like COVID again with the mask on, just because I was paranoid anyone else getting what
and then I think it's my fault. It must be. We took the dogs, and it's beautiful. It's on these
Fork,
gravel lakes, and I took the dogs early. And the greyhounds are renowned for having a delicate tummy. And they had a little drink from the lake, and then that night, and the dog slept with you.
So they came
downstairs
in
on a carpeted floor. You went up for a drink at 3 a.m. Came down, smelt something, and he'd shat diarrhea all over the floor.
On the carpet.
But then the best bit is you came up and woke me.
So I was like, my side of this, it stinks. I haven't slept because I've also got Ziggy,
Scratchy, itchy dog,
who's been very itchy skin. So it was like having a hamster in the room.
Still don't understand why you didn't put them in the bathroom earlier.
Because I was trying to, because Amber and Flynn had to use that bathroom, and I was like, they wouldn't know, and they'd go in.
They're not like us having a wee in the middle of the night.
Well, I don't. You do, because you're very old. But so I was like, I hadn't any sleep. I was still recovering from my very severe man flu, and I wasn't really thinking straight. And I was just like, just got to get these dogs out. Well, Yogi was fine. He was settled on his bed until I went upstairs. I couldn't sleep, so I went upstairs for a bit. It's only when I came down did I discover Poo-Gate. Anyway, so I've cleaned it up. We're in a rental house, so there's no, I don't know where anything is. The cleaners come in and clean and do that, so there's no real cleaning products in there.
You were using a face.
I found a little old makeup sponge thing in my soap bag, some shower gel, and I eventually found a big plastic bowl somewhere, and just was like,
well, you came up.
So I was like, I need help. I can't do this. I'm literally going to cry. So I went upstairs. Mark was in the master suite on the top floor, lording it. So I went up to find him. I was like, woke him up. It was about,
what? So you woke me up.
So I woke him up. I said,
as the dog shat on the floor. And I looked at my watch, 7:45. Oh, okay, right, got changed. Came down, came halfway.
Ages. So I'm downstairs again. So I'm like going, if he's gone back to sleep, I'm going to kill him.
And then I come down the stairs and I'm like, it's still dark. Why is it dark at 7:45? It's weird in Dorset.
And I was like, why?
Dorset's weird. And I come down fully trained.
And I was like, okay, maybe because he thinks he's going outside. We're not at home.
And then I looked and I went, 3:45. Yeah.
So I just needed a bit of help to get the dogs out of the room without waking everybody else up.
Then we moved them into the bathroom, and then he shat and vomited.
You got him. I managed to get some sleep. You then got up and dealt with him in the morning.
It was a calamity.
It was like dysentery. It was what I know it's an old-fashioned word, but carried on. Like that.
It wasn't a very. I was really looking forward to a relaxing weekend, and it wasn't really that relaxing.
Luckily, I couldn't really smell. So
I've got the tactic. I don't understand why more people don't do this.
No, but it doesn't bother me. So
my tactic, if I go into a public toilet, I don't breathe through my nose. I wouldn't even dream of it. It's like being at school. Whenever I walk into a toilet now, I never even think about breathing.
Maybe that's where it's come from, you see, boarding school.
Yeah. And then, hand job.
And let's not call it that. So the whole weekend we called G-Fest because it was my mum's birthday weekend.
Yeah, tying in with
Glastonbury.
Glastonbury.
Lots of activities,
see what we've done there.
Lots of sports, lots of fun.
We never gave away points, did we? We never found out a winner.
Well, she didn't score. She was just scoring mentally up here, which I was trying to find out which grandchild or which child she favoured. We all know. She just won't say it. And it's not me. It's not me. It's probably you.
So we're leaving. We had a lovely day at the beach.
Yeah,
where were we? Rutling. Anyway, it was near Dumbledore, Diddley Door.
Ludlow.
Yeah, not far from all of that. Jurassic Coast.
Yeah, we were down Dorset, basically.
Dorset. Very clear water. Beautiful.
So lovely day on the beach. Lots of paddleboarding, all that sort of shenanigans. Pack up, go back to the houses. We're going to pack up, have something to eat quickly, pack up and leave.
Yes.
So we've got about an hour turnaround we're planning. And I walk in the Poo-Gate bedroom because I'm still paranoid about the carpet and stains on the carpet, which I've cleaned to within an inch of their life. There's barely any carpet left.
Within an inch of its life. That's a great saying, isn't it? An
inch of its life.
What had Flynn not heard of the other day? Made a killing. So, what? Anyway, carry on.
So, carpet. So what I go in the room and I open the sliding patio door, whatever you want to call them, French doors.
I'd call it a sliding patio door.
Sliding glass door. And as I'm pulling the handle
Did you muscle it, do you think?
Of course. With my supreme power, I pulled the door and I leant across at the same time. That's what did it. Because I wanted to open the curtain.
So you're doing two things at once. Women can't do two things at once.
Shut your face. Push the curtain across at the same time as I'm pulling the door. And I managed to...
It wasn't even a cut. It was a pressure cut. So you wedged your hand so hard between the two sliding doors.
And the upright.
Yeah, so the static and basically caused...
It's basically like getting a hammer
So
slamming it
that
on
web, we still don't know the name
what's that
between your
called? We need to
thumb
look
and
that
your
up.
index finger. We're going to call it the web.
I'm calling it a little webby bit.
Or the flap.
I prefer web.
Your hand
I
flap.
punctured my flap.
Yes. So you punctured
That's
it, and
the
you
title
needed.
of this podcast.
You've punctured your
How
flap.
did you puncture your flap?
And you've got 4 stitches. At
So we're gonna say
Dorset, minor.
3.
Oh, I thought it was 4.
It's 18 stitches.
Come on, make it massive. You've got a big flap, so you must have needed a lot of stitches.
Cutty hands.
Cutty hands. Have you changed the dressing yet?
No, I'm going to after this. I was a bit scared before.
So you went to...
I might cry.
You went to Dorchester Hospital,
so
and then they said...
You're really good with blood if someone's in our family's done it.
I'm fine.
No, you're not.
I was standing there.
No, not blood. I'm not just blood, but like trauma or wounds. You passed out when the dog was getting stitches.
Oh, that was horrible, though, because he was in pain. You weren't in pain. You weren't. You were fine.
I was pretending I wasn't in pain. Flynn was standing there. No, I'm saying in a crisis of like your clients or anything like that. But when it's one of us, you do go a bit wobbly.
Yeah, it was a bit more emotional. But I'm fine.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I was fine with that.
No, you're fine. But every time I show you something, they're kind of like,
yeah, it doesn't help.
I was like,
I just wanted to see it was. I was
no,
touch and go whether
it's
everybody because I'm terrible though because we've had a few accidents climbing, and the go-to thing is obviously you're not near a hospital or anything, but you just super glue everything now. And so I was looking at that going, well, it doesn't really matter if there's going to be a scar there, and I'm like, well, we've got some strips. And
yeah, but I was happy because we were literally about to leave, so all I wanted was just like.
My biggest concern was you hadn't damaged any nerves.
Yeah, so we were thinking in our brains because that's how we would go. I was just like, I'll just hold it and we'll just drive home 3 hours and then go to our local A&E. But actually, my brother and sister-in-law were very good, so they drove me to Dorchester, which is near them. We went to the A&E, got seen fairly quickly into the triage bit, and she went, "Yeah, you need stitches." I'm like, "Yeah, probably knew that." She said, "Oh, we've got a 7-hour wait." I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" She said, "Or." This is like, 7-hour wait, or you can go to the minor injuries clinic and I can book you an appointment now. They close at 8, put you on for 7:20 p.m. It was about 6 o'clock at this point.
That's amazing, wasn't it? And she could book it from there?
Yeah, she rang them, said, "Can I book in? This is the stuff."
And it's on appointments?
NHS number. Yeah.
That's clever, isn't it?
So, but it is and it isn't. They booked me one at 7:20.
Yeah.
We got there at 6:15 and I went in at 6:20.
Oh, that's even better.
Because she said, if you get there earlier, you
might get a slot earlier, yeah.
So we go sitting in the waiting room for the minor injuries thing. And this lovely little lady rushes out, runs past, and she's got a big yellow name badge on. And she goes, "Susan Roberts?"
She doesn't like Susan, everyone. Don't ever call her Susan.
My pet hate name. I was like, not going to answer you because...
So apart from the C word, that's the next word
because
for you,
I thought she might be stitching my hand up, so I wanted to be nice to her. So I didn't say that. I went, "Yes."
You do your fake smile.
Yes, Kim. And they said, "Oh, I'll be with you in a minute." I went, "Thanks, Kim," because she's got her big yellow name badge. Good. She was basically like a Dawn French.
It's actually pronounced Kim.
No, she was basically. It was like being. I felt I had to sort of have a little game, like you have your little games when you're trying to distract yourself and things. In my head, I was a scenario of she was like Dawn French and Vicar of Dibley, because that's what she was like, and that's sort of how she spoke. And she was teaching this other lady, so it was like her sidekick, how to do stuff.
So
this
Kim
other one was like, they were asking questions. "Oh no, I wouldn't do it like that. I would do it like this." And we all know we don't like that. And so might do the thing.
What is she, Cornish?
West Country, isn't it?
Oh, isn't it?
Sort of Dorset.
Did she do the pain injection? Everything.
She did everything.
Clean it up. Check your tendons.
Yeah, she was getting the tweezers and a right old poke around. I was like, "Oh, that's kind of."
But she'd already given the pain injections.
No, not when she's poking around with tweezers. No.
I guess you got to see if it twinges.
So she was happy with all sorts of stuff. So yeah, sorry, we're not going into details in case people are a bit squeamish, but yeah, not quite. Was more painful actually, the pain injection or just getting on with it. So I was like, needle's needle, just get on with it.
Get on with it.
So that was a fun weekend. Really annoying. She said, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" I said, "Well, I do a bit of sports massage." That's my right hand. Not going to be very helpful.
Going to be using your forearm a lot.
Yeah. Elbow in. Yeah, so that was our weekend. So we did get back. We did have a nice time. Aside from the dysentery, hand almost amputation.
Yeah, your mum had a really nice
Me
time.
having mouth flu at the beginning. Yeah, it was lovely because it was just us and my brother's family. And it's not often that we all get together and spend longer than like a day at someone's house. playing games or whatever, and
That was
actually getting
nice.
everybody out
It
doing
was
some
nice.
volleyball, a bit of tennis.
But it made me
swimming.
think, I was saying it yesterday, with the dogs now, obviously they're being quite high maintenance. Yogi's now 11, insulin twice a day. Siggy's had a stroke or whatever. But it's a bit like how we treat our parents in kind of Western Europe. Like, they're great, wonderful, you're my parent, you're lovely, lovely. And then you get to a certain age, you go, right, put them in a home.
You know, your mum listens.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, but that, in this country, we tend to do that. We're like, yep. Whereas in a lot of the kind of Italy, Spain, the family, everyone moves in together.
Mm-hmm.
But and I was thinking the same with the dogs. They've given us loads of pleasure and fun, and now suddenly they're becoming a pain in the arse. And you're like, right, we'll just ship them off. We get someone to look after them while we don't. I was talking about not taking them to France.
Yeah, but I think it's like obviously it's different with dogs, but we're not just shipping someone random in. We're shipping in someone who they get even more attention, more care.
Yeah, I know,
Probably
but the whole idea, one of the whole ideas.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you about bringing them. I think when we go do something where we're going to be out all day, then it's actually unfair on them. So if we're skiing.
So should we contact?
But if we're going to France, we tend to take them with us everywhere that we're doing. It depends what we're going to do. It's a slightly different holiday because we've got one of our children at the beginning of the week and one at the second week. So it's not like we're all there together for the whole 2 weeks and we're doing lots of like big long days out necessarily. And you've also got our other friends. 2 lots of friends are going to be out there in their places. So I don't know. The answer to that question, to be continued, to be discussed.
You were talking about making games in your mind. I keep forgetting to mention the 2 wonderful games that I make you play pretty much every day. And if you can't name them...
Yeah, I know them.
What are
Birthdays in the Times.
Guess the birthday year of the celebrity in the Times.
Find a celebrity in the Times.
And then you get 3 or 5 depending on your mood and how close you are.
My mood?
Well, sometimes you're up for it. Sometimes I can tell you just shout out a number.
Just if I'm in a mood.
No. And then the other one
is how many steps
have I done?
I do pay attention.
So I want to know, because
such fun in our house.
It's extremely exciting.
I can't wait till the beginning of the day and the end of the day.
See? And you're very good. You're not so good at the birthdays. You started really well. You're pretty rubbish now.
Actually, the birthdays of people don't know that
well. Your comment is, I was going to say that. Why don't you say that? I'm like,
because I talked myself out of it.
I think it was Dame Helen Mirren, and you'll say whatever it was. Oh, yeah, I was going to say that, but you didn't say that.
I should just go with my
gut.
Gut instinct is very finely tuned.
Your guts can sometimes be very finely tuned.
Not always, no.
And then guess how many steps?
I'm good at that one.
It's a very
I have to
game.
Work it out logically what you've done that day, if you've played golf, if you've gone to the track, if you've just been training, if you've just done a little dog walk, and I'm like,
how do you do it? Christ, you're like Steve Austin.
Yeah, that's basically it. Bionic Man.
Well, no.
Was he Bionic Man?
$6 million man.
Oh, okay, who was the Bionic Man then?
10 million, 5 million. Oh, it's gone up. He inflates.
6 million, wasn't it?
$6 million man. Wonder where they came up with that. We can rebuild him. He was fast as a train.
Why 6 million, do you think?
Because that's quite a lot back then. I think they worked it out.
Well, not 5.
Well, at the time, those bionic legs were quite expensive.
Okay. So what has been happening? So we've had a friend over from New Zealand who's coming back. We had a lot of people at ours on Thursday night.
Fish and chops?
We didn't have fish and chips, no.
No.
But that's how you say it in New Zealand, apparently.
Fish and chops.
Do we have a Mark's Bits at all?
Ooh.
Okay, no. That's a no then. Getting stitched.
Oh, mobility.
Oh, okay.
So I've had a few clients come in who are very, very stiff.
Very, you nearly did it then. Don't stiff. Do it. So annoying.
Very stiff. You don't pronounce the R. Very.
Very.
And trying to get them across it. So they say, I'm going to start yoga, or I'm going to start Pilates. It's so much more beneficial to do a little bit every day rather than just 1 hour of stretchy classy a week. And then nothing in between.
Classy.
That's the technical term. You wouldn't understand it. It's very technical. So doing something every day. So picking a stretch and just doing it. And remember, when you're stretching, it shouldn't look like you're about to pass out or follow through. You should be able to
look like or feel like
both.
Okay.
It should be in a relaxed state. So it doesn't matter if you can't. If you only go to your knees or whatever stretch you're doing, then it's fine. So if you're feeling a stretch, you're getting a stretch. But if you contract the muscles, you're going to get nothing out of it.
Nothing.
Yeah. So just little and often. And the biggest one we've got now is people's mid-spine, the thoracic spine, is so tight. So it's tight on rotation, it's normally good on flexion, because that's the position we're all in now, like typing and driving and so on. So it's not very good at rotation, and it's not very good at extension. And then when the mid-back gets tight, you reduce lung capacity. You also put more force onto the front of the shoulder, so people start getting anterior shoulder pain. So doing kind of easy rotational stretches. It's a bit like the old calisthenics. Is that if I said it right? You know when you had Jane Fonda, not even Jane Fonda, it was before. Is it calisthenics?
And it's calisthenics is the sort of bit. They are different but similar.
Okay, so just mobility, and I do like rotational mobility and dead hangs.
Traction.
Yeah, when you're hanging.
But do it gently. Come out of it gently.
Yeah, and also when you do it, if you haven't done it for ages, kind of support yourself. Have your feet in contact with the ground to start with.
Yeah.
So it just gives this really nice stretch through the shoulders, the mid back, and it makes you extremely tall.
Or you could just sleep upside down like a bat.
Yes. Do you remember those anti-gravity things? Those
boots.
Yeah. Someone got stuck.
I
had them at the gym at Leconfield House, but people got stuck. We'd leave them out on the gym floor. They'd clip them in, and then you'd be like, "Help! Help!"
And we're trying to do that Rocky sit up.
Yes. Rocky.
Okay. So
that's my bits. Mobility.
Keep moving,
just rotate.
We
all rotate at 98.
What about doing hula hoop?
Yes. How do you do it? You got that weighted hula hoop.
You just go side to side, actually. You don't actually rotate.
Just moving. Walking is a natural thoracic rotation exercise. So when you're walking relatively fast, and one arm's forward, the other arm's back, you're getting a little rotational force.
I quite like doing this standing when you just swing your arms.
I know what you're saying, Suzie.
That's a really nice one.
I know what you're trying to say.
Because it's not using momentum, but you're just
But it's a little bit like Tai Chi.
Pendulum-y. It's very good for you, that, I think.
Okay, thank you, Suzie, with your fan.
I've got my disco fan. I have got another fan, but it's rude, so I wasn't going to use that. Lynn has been to Quinn's still back.
Pre-season training has started.
It's full on, actually. I didn't quite... In the diary, when you just write in the diary, it doesn't seem such a big thing.
Yeah, how long is this? So he's got 3 weeks of 3 days a week? And then a gap, is that correct?
I think it's a little bit longer than 3 weeks.
Is it? It is I was talking to...
But for me, it's like, we were still waiting. So anybody who's waiting for driving test, you feel this pain. Yes. He is ready. He can drive. I mean, he drove all the way down the way back. Absolutely fine. Occasional just positioning, a big junction or a roundabout is his only thing. I was saying just not remembering to just stay in the middle of the lane. He sort of sometimes gets a bit... No, he's not going out the lane, but do you know what I mean? Just being a bit more aware. So I'm just there. But aside from that, his driving is fine.
And so just waiting for the test.
We're just waiting for this flipping test, which would make everybody's lives a little bit easier. His included, because he could drive himself there and back and not have to rely on us or someone else and take up 4 hours. Because it's like today, he's got to be there at 5:20 and it finishes at 8.
Yeah.
And it's not like round the corner, so it's like a good 40, 50 minutes, 50 minutes pretty much, 45, 50 minutes at that time of day to get him there. So the time you drive there, drive back, drive there, drive back.
Suzie, you're making sense.
It's a nightmare, people.
When you park up there, would you be allowed to, if you wanted to, would you be allowed to go and there's a swimming pool there and stuff, isn't there?
There's a whole big, massive,
Can you just get a day pass? I'm assuming you can.
I don't know, haven't investigated that.
It's worth knowing if you were down there for a bit. At least you can do something useful.
Yeah, I think
because you're not allowed dogs. I don't think.
There was a dog on a lead, but I don't know whether that was allowed or not.
Nice.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yes, it's quite full on, and then there's a break, and then they go back into it, and then he's got so it's full on. But it was nice because they had a big sort of parents and induction sort of for the under 17s and the under 18s.
The sports.
So all the different coaches gave their little spiel. Sports psych, physio.
Does a sports psych
There's no nutrition actually. That was interesting.
Wasn't there?
There wasn't a nutritionist.
There is a nutritionist. I'm
sure there is, but there wasn't last night a nutritionist. I don't know who does that. One question. When it's so hot, we're all sitting in this room being spoken to.
Do they?
And you're like,
do they have the opportunity to speak to the sports psych individually?
Yes. Yes, he's available. He said my door's always open, so even if you're still at school or it's term time, we can do it remotely.
Wow.
So he said I had a couple of, I can't remember the name of the player a while ago who was on the bench, from the academy, then got onto the bench into the main. Oh no, not the main team. He was on the bench for whatever matches.
Team, yeah.
And he was worried about how he prepped himself to be ready to be on the bench, but then get on the pitch, be in that sort of zone. So he did some work with him, and he's now, playing for the first team. Can't remember his name.
Nice.
I do know him, but I can't remember it right now.
Oh, come on, Susie. Jack Kinningham.
Queen's player. Okay. Can't remember.
Okay.
So he said what's really nice is like he's only been there for 4 years, but he's seen some of the academy boys come through who are now in the main squad, which is really nice to see. And they're also talking about the conversations of if, especially for the under-18s, if they don't get the contract, how they still have those conversations, to sort of say, look, you've got this option, you go to university, you can get through into different things. You've got this career, it's not like the end of the end for them. You've had one dad apparently said, what do you think the benefit of this academy is? And they gave their version, and he said, well, no, this is my version. He said, I think that you've allowed my son to be, have some of the best coaches, the best facilities, get to the best level he can possibly get to in rugby at the moment.
Yeah.
And that's sort of a great opportunity. So they were like, oh, that's a really good. So they're using that, and on their team, like their parent talks now, obviously, because it's quite a good one from a parent.
Yeah.
Just so the kids don't feel like they've just been dropped, and then it's a negative thing, and they're useless, and it's all like negative. They're not good enough. But
you and I can look back and go, oh, I wonder if I'd done a bit more of this or that. And I know it was
given those
slightly different era, but I said to Flynn, we didn't, I was chatting to all mates around on Thursday, and we were all decent Surrey, London rugby players, but we didn't train. We trained on the pitch, but we had a multi-gym, I think.
Didn't do S&C.
And there wasn't, and also if you got an ACL injury back then, like, well, see you, bye. You're not coming back. There wasn't. So, as you said, the opportunity to know when he looks back that actually I did everything I could.
You're being given the opportunity, like professional rugby, sportsman.
And also I think that's usable for other things. If you've got that dedication and drive to do all that.
What was interesting, one of the things was whether this is just cover themselves, I don't know, and this is general across all academies. If you injure yourself, say at school or in a school, they didn't say school match, but doing something else. We've got some drilling happening now. Then the school need to lead that injury thing. They will support them, but you can't then come straight to them for all the treatment.
Wow.
Whereas if you injure yourself doing a Quins thing or Quins training or Quins thing,
well, that's fair enough.
It's fair enough because they must get so many injuries and so many kids going, I turned my ankle in, school match, whatever.
Kiss chase.
Or playing five-side football when I shouldn't have done.
Drop the soap.
Okay, I think that's a prison game.
Oh, yeah.
Or is it boarding school as well? Same thing.
Yeah, it's all the same.
Same thing.
There's a very tight correlation. Correlation
Correlation.
Boarding school and prison.
Yeah, very similar. Back in your day, I don't think it's quite like that now.
No, I think they've gone soft.
Well, everywhere. Prisons as well.
Yeah.
Have they?
Yeah.
So I've just got a little Susie shout out to all the lovely people who looked after me. And Kim, can't remember the other lady's name.
Paul
and Kate.
Brother
and sister-in-law who were very, very good. Kate is doing lecturing on teaching.
Well, she's teaching first aid.
So she was. I was like, I want her.
Yeah.
In, and also she's very calm in a crisis. She's got a very large family and lots of children. Been around lots and lots of children creating havoc. Yes. So Susie shout out goes to all NHS people, basically helping in hospitals and dealing with people who've done stupid stuff like this.
With your hand flap. Have you had your flap tightened?
They did have to cut a little bit off.
Yes, so you've got a tightened flap.
I had a bit of flappy flap. They cut a bit of flap off.
Did they?
So I'm not sure where the rest of the flap is.
So when it's fixed, you'll have less range on your flap.
Really bendy.
You may not have any more. Yeah, you have there, but your other ones you're going to have change of flaps. Don't stretch it, you plonker. Don't.
I'm not. I'm pretending because I'm an actress.
No, you're an actor. You don't say actress.
Actor, they, them, him, her, who, his.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, everybody. I hope you don't melt. This is the last day, is it?
I think it
today?
breaks tomorrow. I think it drops tomorrow.
In the week, but
and I hope all the Wimbledon and all the professional sports people just drink lots today, please.
Hydrate, people.
Yeah, it's Wimbledon fortnight.
We're kicking into. We'll chat Wimbledon next week, maybe, if you're lucky.
All right, team.
Thank you, everybody.
Murky buckets.
Over and out.